So Quell is another company that we've just recently launched, and it's a company that took us about 12 to 15 months to set up. And it's going to be a company that develops therapies based on a person's own cells that are engineered to have a suppressive function. So we believe that this type of approach will have a big application for a number of conditions, including autoimmune diseases, autoinflammatory diseases, and also in patients that are living with solid organ transplants, for example, that are on lifelong immunosuppression. This therapy might allow them to discontinue that long-term immunosuppression, which we know has a whole host of side effects. So that's a little bit of background on what the company is and what it will be doing. In terms of how we pulled it all together, this was quite a complex undertaking. It's a company that's founded around 6 academic founders coming from 3 different institutions, KCL, UCL, and Hanover Medical School. But what that's allowed us to do is to really bring on board a very complementary set of skills that are shared amongst all the founders, so that we not only have a very deep understanding of the science and the biology behind the T regulatory cells, which are the types of cells we're going to be addressing, but also what these founders bring is also deep clinical expertise. In fact, 3 of our founders are clinicians themselves, and so they treat patients and understand the diseases that we want to address with our therapeutic approach, and they also bring a strong translational angle. So that's really allowed us to develop a plan for the company that will allow us to essentially test our technology and our approach in patients in the relatively near future. And then, like all other Syncona companies, we've spent the last year developing the business plan, doing our diligence, and licensing the key IP from the academic institutions. But another very important activity has also been really around finding that talent to bring into the company early. So those people that share our ambition, our vision, and that have that deep domain expertise to make the company a success. We're very interested in the cell and gene therapy space, so that's been an area of high interest for Syncona for a long time. And we've been very interested in the T regulatory field for a number of years. And we'd originally engaged with one of the founders about 4 years ago. At the time we felt that the field was very exciting but wasn't quite mature enough to form a company around this therapeutic approach. And then wind the tape forward to about 18 months ago, we re-engaged with that academic, and we saw how the field had moved on over time, and through her we were introduced to another couple of the founders who brought very complementary skill sets. Separately to that, we were also engaged with academics from UCL who had separately presented us with an opportunity in this field and a very interesting technology. And we realized that actually the combination of those 2 sets of founders, bringing them under a single umbrella in one company, could be really powerful. And so we actually made that introduction and facilitated that. And then separately, one of the founders allowed us to engage with another academic from Hanover Medical School who brought particular expertise around the autoimmune field and was also a clinician. So again, he was brought into the ring. And so that's really how we created the company. It certainly wasn't there before we started. It was something that we pieced together based on what we saw were kind of cutting edge bits of technology that we wanted to bring together. Quell Therapeutics sits very squarely in the 3rd wave technology. What we're going to be doing with Quell Therapeutics is essentially developing a new class of living drug, which will be able to address certain diseases that require rebalancing of the immune system. So what we are going to do with Quell is actually use a certain cell type called a T regulatory cell, which has very strong suppressive function. And we're going to engineer that cell in order to redirect its suppressive function to address a number of diseases which are poorly addressed with current standard of care.